Alright everybody, day 2 from our Flower Garden Banks National Marine Sanctuary coral spawn trip here. This is going to be East Bank Buoy 2. All of these dives for this day are going to be on East Bank. Again, this is dive day 2. We've already done 5 dives the previous day. We've woken up the next morning. It's around 7 a.m. We're going to start our second day of diving. This will be dives 6 through 10. But this is our first dive of the day here. Did 5 dives a day. Again, this trip was myself, my daughter Heather, my brother Garrett, and my other brother Evan. Kind of a family trip here to see the coral spawn. Step up, he checks my air, make sure my air is on. Make sure I'm number 28, yep, reads my name, yep, that's me. Gives me the okay. And I'm off. As far as narration on this video, I'll try to keep it light. I'll try to identify fish. I'll try not to do a whole bunch of talking on here. I've kind of laid out the groundwork in the previous video for what's going on here. But there's Heather in the water. There's Evan in the water. There's John in the water. I want to say John. His name is John. He goes by Garrett, which is his middle name. I'm still getting kind of used to that. Make a descent here. Can see the boat on the way down. Can see the bottom pretty clear. This is a barjack. Unusually dark. Definitely barjacks. These blue ones are Creole wrasse. Creole fish. The blue ones are Creole wrasse, the darker ones are Creole fish. Garrett, Evan, and Heather here for a selfie. Ocean triggerfish. I'm saying film it. Creole fish. Not much sand at this location. Again, we're East Bank Buoy 2. Big grouper in the distance. Not sure what type. Just a big grouper. All these fish in the foreground. Those on the left are Bermuda chubs. The blue ones on the right are Creole wrasse. That grouper's not really having it. Of course, he turned his back to us. He's swimming away immediately. Of all of these fish you see, most of these are Creole wrasse. You can see the surface from the bottom. Pretty cool perspective there. tons of Creole wrasse. Barracuda. Again, the bulk of these are Creole wrasse. These two of them seem to be in a pretty big hurry there. Barjack, again, very dark in color. Another selfie, Heather, Evan, and Garrett on the line, about to start the descent here, or about to start the ascent, excuse me. Again, we come up, we do our surface interval, which is about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then we're going to be right back in the water. This is dive number 2. Same location, East Bank, buoy 2. Just another dive at the same spot. So this yellow line is laid by the boat when we arrive, and they moor. They send a diver down, they put this yellow line out on a reel and leave it through the dives, and then they pick it back up and we take it with us when we leave. These are reef butterflies. Some type of strawberry grouper or something of that nature. Brown chromis. The yellow ones are bluehead wrasse. Again, no sand. Nice sponge. Very common for shrimp or crabs or small critters to be inside of these. I'll take a close look here, but nobody's home. Little bluehead wrasse, the male. This is a type of soft coral. It looks like brain coral, but it's actually a soft coral. Not sure what it's actually called. Creole fish, close up. These are barjacks coming in close. Again, those are Creole wrasse in the background. A couple of blue tangs. Bluehead wrasse. Yellow tang juvenile has the false eye, the black spot. It will lose that spot as it gets bigger. I think this is a yellowmouth grouper. You'll get a close-up here in a minute. If you look close, you can actually see the yellow edges on the mouth, a little bit on the eyeball. I think that's a yellowmouth grouper. This is a Bermuda chub. Sometimes those guys have spots instead of horizontal bars. This is going to be a small trunk fish or box fish. This damsel does not like that he's in his territory. They're kind of aggressive. He's kind of running him off, biting him by the tail there. It's going to be a gray snapper. So this closer fish is a reef butterfly swimming through. This one sitting on a rock it's a strawberry grouper. It's not a rock hind, but it's some similar type of hind or cousin to the groupers, I believe. Again, reef butterfly. Big school of horse-eyed jacks in the distance here. Bunch of them are turning on their side, is what I'm saying with my hand. I believe they're looking down at the reef with their eyeball, looking for small fish to pick off. I believe that's why they're doing that. These guys are usually the aggressors, so they're not very shy. Horse-eyed jack. Here I'm just telling them to get swim out in front of me. I'm just trying to frame everybody with the school of jacks in the background for screenshots and whatnot. This is going to be a rainbow parrotfish. The colors are very muted because of the depth we're at. Again, these horse-eyed jacks. Again, rainbow parrotfish. A little trunk fish. This is a blue tang. The little yellow spot in front of the tail is a spine. Fish got to get swallowed head first, and he'll shake that tail side to side and stab a fish in the throat that's trying to swallow him. This is a stoplight parrotfish. Some type of little wrasse, I'm not sure. Barracuda is what I'm pointing out. But here we got two barjacks. The silvery looking one with a bright blue stripe is what they normally look like. The dark one is also a barjack. I'm not sure why it's so dark. I don't know if this is mating behavior. You can see they're kind of chewing on the line here. I don't know if this is some type of spawning behavior since there's a pair of them. I saw several other barjacks that were dark black like this. I don't know why. I don't know if this is a hunting behavior. I read that they can do this on purpose. They can change their color on purpose like this. I don't know why they would do it. Again, maybe some spawning behavior or hunting behavior. Of course, Barracuda's got to come in and get his 5 seconds of fame here. That's a great Barracuda. The previous video, there were lots of moon jellies we had to fight through on our way down, on our way back up. There were less moon jellies here on day 2 of the diving. All right, getting into dive number 3. This is going to be a rig dive. This is the rig number, but it's essentially a jacket that's been cut and laid over on its side. Depth here on top of the rig is at about 70 feet, 65, 70 feet. Current is blasting really hard. Visibility is pretty good. That next level down there is at about 120. With the current like it is and a large number of divers in the water, I make the decision not to go to the deeper level. But you can already see Spanish hogfish, blue tangs, a lot of the usual suspects you see on these rigs. There's a queen angel in this pipe I'm pointing out. Rainbow runners in the distance here with this bright yellow tail. A lot of people use these for ceviche. Little bluehead wrasse, a couple of blue tangs. Tricolor damsel. All kinds of oysters and sponges and all kinds of different stuff growing on the rig. Again, most of these bright yellow and purple looking ones are Spanish hogfish. The ones I was pointing at were the rainbow runners. So here I'm telling everybody, hey, come here, take a look inside this pipe. Depth here is at about 350 feet. We're at about 70, so there's about 300 feet of pipe going down down this leg here. This is an invasive coral. It's a soft coral. It's normally kind of pink and bright yellow, very colorful. Again, the colors are pretty muted at this depth. Filefish. Now I'm pointing at the polyps are actually sticking out of some of these corals. A little bit of a close-up on those polyps. Bunch of Bermuda chubs here. Mostly chubs. Creole fish and Spanish hogfish. So looking down on that deeper deck, there's a jack down here. I'm not sure what type of jack that is. Kind of off to the left here, you're going to see right around that junction, there's a small shark. That's probably a silky shark. They only grow to about 3 or 4 feet. At an adult, they'll be about 4 foot long. That's probably a silky. They're not shy about going inside the rig where some of the bigger shark species are. But got to see a small shark from a distance at least. Small flatworm, kind of unusual, very bright blue. It was wriggling around. I thought it was trash in the water, but some type of flatworm. Very unique. Never seen anything like that before. Bluehead wrasse and this little heron. The striped ones are the females. The yellow and blue one is the male. On our way up, you can see just how many divers are on this rig. Pretty crowded. But ending that dive coming up, from here we're going to move. Next dive will be East Bank Buoy 5. My daughter had a sinus issue. She's going to sit this dive out. So it's me, my brother Evan, and my brother Garrett doing this dive here. They're checking in at the gate, jumping in, getting right into the dive here. Get the 3 of us in the water and heading straight down. Again, we are still on East Bank, but we have moved to Buoy 5. One thing you'll notice coming down here is there are some pretty good sand patches here. It's not just solid coral. Kind of like having some of that sand. You can get down low and actually look under the coral. I've got some bar jacks escorting me down the line here. Again, another big school of horse-eyed jacks in the distance. Lots of barracuda. Black durgons. There's something sticking out, a little head sticking out of a hole here. This might be a blenny or a goby, possibly a goby. Can't do very good close-ups with a GoPro though. Blue tang. Creole wrasse. Of course, barracuda. Yellow goatfish, the yellow tail. These darker fish are just parrotfish, but the ones with the bright yellow tail are yellow goatfish. They have barbels on their chin. They kind of go around and taste the bottom and feed on stuff that's in the sand. There's a good close-up of a yellow goatfish and some other type of wrasse. Parrotfish here pecking at the bottom. These are spot-fin butterflies. There are reef butterflies and spot-fin butterflies that are common. These are spot fins. When they're juveniles, they have a false eye that fades with age. Of course, barracuda wants his 5 seconds. Some blue chromas. Some brown chromas. A bunch of these random little fish are brown chromas. That might be fire coral there. Of course, a gaggle of barracuda just hanging out. You can see the areas of white sand. This is where fish have kind of stirred up the bottom, or it could be a stingray. Something has come there and kind of stirred the bottom up for one reason or another. Gray snapper. Gray snapper / mangrove snapper, same fish. A couple of Creole wrasse, some Creole fish in there. Close up of a rainbow parrotfish. Again, this was East Bank Buoy 5. We're ending this dive. The very next dive is going to be the same location, East Bank Buoy 5, but it will be a night dive. So we're going to dive the same spot, but in the dark. So on the surface, just prior to the night dive, you could actually watch the barracuda chasing flying fish up here on the surface, as well as jacks coming up and just chasing little flying fish all over the place. Pretty cool. This is only happening on the surface. We don't see any of these flying fish on the dive. Again, prepping for the night dive. It's going to be dive number 10 for the trip, but dive number 5 for the day. This is going to end our day of diving. Again, this is a coral spawn trip. The purpose for this dive is to see the coral spawning. So again, the goal of this night dive is to get down here and look for coral spawn. And I'm out of here. Kind of zip through the descent here, just like before in the previous video. Can't see anything but that line right in front of you. Can't see much on these night dives. Pretty much whatever your light is shining on directly, and that's it. Anything that's not directly in the center of that beam just about doesn't exist underwater. Very easy to get turned around down here. Ultimately, we have to find this rope to find our way back up to the boat. There's a star coral close-up. Some of this is just to show how we're just panning around with the lights, just looking for some kind of activity out of the coral. Little things swimming around in the water. Always cool to see. These only come out at night. In the daytime, these little things are hiding, or they would get eaten up very quickly. Since all the daytime fish are asleep, all these little nighttime critters and worms and all kinds of stuff come out and are in the water column at night. Pretty good size, some type of worm, flatworm maybe. Lots of polychaete worms out here. This is a reef butterfly. Trying to keep track of my 3 divers is a little bit of a challenge down here in the dark. And there's 30 other people down here as well. Again, we're just scanning around looking for coral to be spawning. There's a little crab. They only come out at night. Close up of a small cleaner shrimp here. He's kind of hiding under this coral. You see his whiskers. You can see his head and his little claws. He's backing up there. Little peppermint shrimp or cleaner shrimp. Those only come out at night. Little ball, this looks like some type of egg sac. Little bitty balls inside this round mushy ball. Don't know. I don't think that's coral. It's something else maybe spawning. Long spine urchin. These are come out and they're all over the place at night. In the daytime they tend to hide in the cracks. So here I'm starting to see larger particles in the water. These are gametes. The coral somewhere near me is starting to spawn at this point, and it's pushing these gametes out. So now I'm starting to wonder where they're coming from. So I'm starting to search up current. I'm seeing even more and more and more of these gametes. So at this point, one of these corals nearby is full on spawning, pushing these out. This is the event we came here to see. So technically we're seeing it, but we're trying to find the source. I'm really struggling trying to figure out exactly where these gametes are coming from. It would be cool to see them coming out of the coral instead of just floating in the water, but I think they're kind of just coming out of everywhere. These gametes are released into the water and sperm is released into the water. It mixes in the water column. These gametes, once fertilized, settle somewhere and starts a new coral. So this diver kind of ran into Heather. She had to kind of divert him, push his head to the side a little bit. It kind of swam right up underneath us there. Okay, we're getting on the line here. We're about to start our ascent. This is going to kind of end the trip. This is the group of divers on the surface about to board. Everybody boards. We eat ice cream, peach cobbler, so on and so forth in the dive. And that ends the trip in this video. See y'all in the next one.